Everything we do is dependent on the tide. Aggregates is our business. It's a stone and a sand blend of materials used in the concrete industry. We ship it from Fingringhoe, which is on the River Colne in Colchester, round to the River Thames. J.J. Pryor was established by James John Pryor in 1870. He was actually an agricultural worker when he left school. At 16 he decided to work for himself and set up business, managed to save enough money to buy some horses in the 1800s and set up a haulage business. J.J. Pryor got involved in the shipping of aggregates by barge in the early 30s, which means we have almost been 100 years in the shipping of aggregates on the River Thames. We have 3 operational vessels at the present time, and them vessels are all named after members of the Pryor family. One of our boats, the Peter Pryor, that I believe was built at Orchard Wharf in London by the Pryor business, went on to be used at Dunkirk for the evacuation after the World War II. The Pryor crews have been on the river for a lot of years. There's a lot of years of experience on there. They know the river like the back of their hand. So they have 5 days on the boat, that's 24 hours a day, doing alternate watches, 6 hours on and 6 hours off.
The boat is our home. We spend, out of 7 years, if we're doing 5 days on board, we're doing 5 years on the boat, 2 years at home. It's clear today, tomorrow it might be blowing a gale of wind, spray coming over, different boats to look at, different cloud formations. Yeah, there's always something different to see. We're shipping today 290 tonne. We've got our other boat coming up with 270 tonne. And then when you've got the Mark Pryor with 280 tonne in, that is a considerable amount of lorries, which is not congesting London and the roads. What I like about it is when you're out here, you're your own boss. When you're here, you want to be at home. When you're at home, you're restless because you want to be back on the water.
The vessels take the same route most of the time. They do vary a little bit according to tides and according to sandbanks. The journey starting from Fingringhoe is very rural, with lots of nature, lots of nice landscapes. That remains like that with the wildlife and the open sea until they get into the River Thames. It turns very urban. There's quite a lot of container stuff at Tilbury and big ships there. And they have the lights of the O2 Arena and the City of London in front of them finally before they turn into Deptford Creek to discharge. Greenwich has survived through the years we've been there because the Pryor boats are the only boats that can get into Greenwich to discharge. Greenwich is the key to the Pryor transport operation.
I'm Jeff Paul and I drive the crane that's on the building site, on the aggregate site here. You don't get a lot of time when you unload the boats because of the tidal restriction. Every boat is a challenge to unload because of the time that it takes you to unload them. The boat carries about 280 tonne and it takes me around about an hour and a half to unload a boat. My father used to work for Priors years ago when he was alive, and he taught me how to drive the train. But I started off when I left school to be a chef, but I turned to this and started driving the crane here, and I've been here for 45 years. We've just done the actual cutty sark. We put all the concrete into the cutty sark down there, and you know, quite a bit of concrete in here before it had its mishap, obviously. But I mean, the cutty sark now looks fabulous down there with, you know, the way it's been built. J.J. Pryor had been on this site for about 65 years. There's nowhere else that you could put a site like this on in Greenwich or London now, because they're all being snapped up for building on.
The Pryor family business owned up to 5 wharfs in London at one time. In the late 90s, the Docklands Board bought safeguarding some wharfs in because they realised that wharfs were disappearing quickly for housing. What they did was put protection on the wharfs, they called them safeguarded wharfs, to ensure that they could only be used as wharfs and couldn't be developed for, you know, houses and that sort of thing. And Greenwich being one of them. Greenwich Wharf is a protected wharf at this present time. Priors are a forward-looking company, but we are rooted in history.